Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome back to the Intuit Cafe, or as I have renamed it, the Intuit Oracle. I am really excited to bring you another week's worth of readings by sign of the zodiac. I'll be diving right into that in a moment. This will be the same introduction on every video, so if you watch or cross-watch for your moon or rising or Venus signs, or for maybe that partner's sign, you can go ahead and skip forward to the start of the reading. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an update about what's going on with the cards. In case you're new to the channel, the project I just completed, creating my own set of Oracle cards, which really is kind of a intermediate step in the process of my ultimate goal, which truly is to be bringing to everyone some kind of useful tools and ways that they can utilize to tap into their own intuition. And of course, Oracle cards are a really good way to do that with what you can feel inside of you the cards are trying to say to you, when it's not the cards actually, it's your higher self. You're tapping into your higher knowing and the knowing of your higher mind. But the thing and the reason that I believe cards as an intuitive tool works is because all they're doing is they're tricking our conscious mind into kind of taking a back seat and not imposing on our consciousness, on our conscious thought, what it thinks. Because our conscious mind, which I call the planetary mind, it's filled with all kinds of programming and preconceived ideas, and it is not tapped into that higher knowing. And if we want to deliberately tap into our higher knowing, we have to transcend the planetary mind, the ego mind, whatever you want to call it. And the cards are a way of helping us do that, or any kind of intuitive tool actually is a way of helping us do that. And again, I've said this before, but I want to reiterate that I also believe that anyone who goes to YouTube and watches readers such as myself or other readers on YouTube, you're still actually tapping into your own intuitive knowing. And that's the reason that general readings actually work, is because for one, I do believe that energetically it's a very fluid way for the universe to interact with us and send us messages. So, you know, for example, we can be prompted in just some little voice or just urge that's like, you know, I just want to go on YouTube right now and check if, you know, readings. And you just happen to go to one person's reading, and maybe you watch your moon sign and you normally watch your sun sign. So like, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're being guided along the way to see the reading that was really meant for you. And even when you're watching it, then you also are still picking and choosing the parts that resonate and the parts that don't. I always get better, more specific, and even greater detailed readings for people that I do individual readings for. It's always harder to read for ourselves than it is for someone else because of our planetary mind jumping in and wanting to say, no, that's not it, or even just not seeing things. Our planetary mind does get in the way. So ultimately, my goal is to create and develop and launch different intuitive tools. These cards are just a stepping stone. I've already gone through the entire process of developing a really kick-ass app for tarot, and I'm going to use Lenormand in it, and really my plan eventually would be possibly to do a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Oracle cards or whatever, all in this app. I have a way of delivering and helping people create their own messages in that app that's not like any other app out there. I'm super excited about it, but I had to completely shelve the project because I got to a certain point where it was developed and then I couldn't go any further without more money. And I was doing a channeling session with a very close friend of mine where we go in and we channel my higher self, and I'll ask the questions and then she receives the message from her. And again, I'm using her as a tool to kind of bypass my planetary mind that will block those messages from coming into me, which sometimes I do get messages and sometimes I feel like I'm not sure, you know, if I'm getting the right messages. Well, anyway, I asked, you know, how will I get the money to develop this app? And my higher self, whose name is Aria, that's why I go by that name when I'm reading, Aria says, well, you'll do it through some kind of crowdfunding. And I said, okay, so should I launch a Kickstarter, you know, to develop the app with the goal of raising money to develop the app? And she said, no, you'll come up with some other project that will be some other creative project that will raise the money for your app. And then I was like, oh, I wonder what that'll be. And then she goes, no, just stop. you're not going to like get there by trying to get there. If you try to think of a way to come up with this creative project, then it won't come to you like that. It'll just come to you. And the only hint she would give me was that I'll really enjoy doing it, and it utilizes my creative skills and abilities. And so I shelved that piece of information so completely that I had 100% forgotten about it. I didn't even think of it. So then I suddenly got this idea for these cards, and I was so excited about it, and I just dove into it, as you might know if you've been following me and didn't hear from me for a month. And so just completed that, and it wasn't until I was all the way finished with it that I was really starting to think, I think these cards have the potential to do really well. That's what, it hit me. I was like, I could use this to develop the app. I could raise the money for my own app this way. And even then I didn't remember what I had been told by my higher self in that session until later. And it really blew me away because it came true, and it came true exactly the way she said it would, that I wouldn't be like searching for it, that it would just come to me. And I have to say that along the way, the entire process has truly been about learning to surrender my control over things and just going with the flow, creating and manifesting things with the energy of the archetypes of the tarot. Tell us a lot about how to do that, with the magician is the manifester, but the fool takes the leap. And then we have the empress that just attracts things to her. But then we have the emperor that just goes out and gets things done. We have the high priestess, that's our higher knowing that guides us along the way, and so forth. That's the journey of the fool through the major arcana. So that's really what this has been about. And when I'm going to continue to do readings on a weekly basis because partly just as a gift to everybody who's following me already, and then I want to build a larger audience so that when I'm able to launch the app, we have a place to tell people about it. But in light of all of that, first of all, every one of you, I know you have your own journeys. You come to my channel for different reasons. I do think from the feedback I get that most people are on kind of like some kind of divine love journey, awakening process where you really realize that you're here on the planet for doing something extraordinary. And something extraordinary might just be how you live your life, that you live your life with so much light and love, and you bring in like a higher way of living and being. But along the way, I think we all kind of have this urge and this desire to create and make something that's above and beyond where everybody's kind of been at on this planet for so long. We really are trying to, we're not just trying to, we really are creating the higher dimensional living, which is where we're all headed. We're all headed into a higher frequency where we're tuned into, our consciousness is tuned into our true divinity and the power of who we are as human beings, what we can really do and what we can really accomplish. Now, having said all of that, this introduction got quite long. I'm going to try to keep your readings short this week. They're going to be just a quick look at the week ahead. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing my channel with others. And before I forget, the final thing is that my Kickstarter is doing really well. I'm at 70% funded, and I really would like to do about twice that many. If you are interested in these cards at all, please consider backing it. Share it with others if you know anybody else who might. And again, think about the fact that these cards are actually going to help bring in something else even bigger. So this is seed money to print a larger printing, which then will help me develop and publish the app. All right, so because of that, I'm going to have a special gift. Anybody who backs my campaign, who's a viewer of my YouTube channel, go ahead and you can just select the $66 package, which is the Oracle Trio of the 3 decks, and I will throw in for you the 10 planetary influencers, which is a $22 value, if you just message me back, and that way I'll make sure that you get the extra bonus without having to pay the next package up, which includes it. So just wanted to give you guys that, just my special gift to you for backing my campaign. Again, share this with others if you are so inclined, and we will talk to you soon. Stay tuned right now for your reading by your sign in the zodiac. Alright, Aries, I'm gonna get your cards shuffled and laid out. And I was already shuffling before I started the camera. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. And again, tune into I'll do a general love reading as well, so it will be a little bit longer. We'll go into more details because it's just for you for the week. And let's just see what Spirit has for you guys this week. All right, so one of my favorite kinds of spreads with Lenormand is just the 5-card spread, and really any kind of cards too, but this card is the central focus, so let's take a look at it first. So the focus is on getting rid of something that you don't need anymore. It might be a tedious task, there might be some repetitive, like even mundane kind of work, but the real point of it is you're just going to need to get it done because it is because it's there to do. We'll get some more insights about why. Oh, that's really, really cool to see. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so we have a partner, we have partner cards here. So in the regular Lenormand deck, it's clouds, which are about not seeing things clearly. It can really truly be about your thoughts. But there's hesitation, doubt, confusion. You know, clouds cover things up. The good thing is that there's a light and a dark side to the clouds. So what we do look at is where is the light side pointed, because the light side pointed gives us clues as to what can help get rid of the doubt and the confusion and clear things up. And what is able to clear things up for you this week is a catalyst of some kind about getting things going. And you know, you think about a bellows. The bellows is in fact, I was just starting a fire today, and it actually got to the point where I'm like, it's gonna go out, and I had no more paper, and it would have been a struggle. And so I blew on it, and I actually blew it out, and then I was like, oh great. And then I looked toward the back, and I could tell there was a lot more paper there that was just kind of smoldering, and it was at that point where I wasn't sure if it could get going or not, but I gave it a try. So I blew farther back there, blew really hard, and I fanned those flames up, and I ended up getting a wonderful roaring fire going, even though it seemed like everything had already gone out. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here. And it actually, because we have the broom in the middle, it's very clear that your ability to spark something and get something going is dependent on getting rid of something that needs to be gotten rid of. Like, stuff is in the way for you in some way. And this could even be the clouds and the doubt and the confusion, that you really just need to sweep that away. And by sweeping that away, like just saying, you know what, I know I feel doubt, I have confusion about what's going on here. There might be some misunderstandings. My thoughts, I'm all up in my head about something, but I'm just going to purposefully let that go. And that might take, the purposefulness of that might take some kind of, coping skill or mechanism or tools, such as, going for a hike, or, removing yourself from a situation that's kind of triggering all of this, or whatever you have to physically do in order to sweep that away. But when you do, you're going to ignite something that has been stagnant for a long time. Because look at this, we have stalemate is mirroring the bellows card, and the stalemate is actually the companion deck from the Nuance Oracle to the clouds. It's the same card as clouds. It's an aspect of the clouds which talks about like if you paired the clouds perhaps with the anchor, you get this really stuck situation that's not moving. You have a stalemate. So that's where this card comes in. So we're getting some more details here. There is, for you, there's been a stalemate. That's stagnancy. Things have not been budging. Things haven't been moving. Well, why? Because there's stuff that just you have to get rid of. You've got to do the work of sweeping it away. But guess what? You get some help, because we have the tornado, which is the storm is brewing. Things are going to get torn up and done that's even beyond your effort and control. So whereas you've got some work of your own to do, which is to sweep up your own things, it's kind of mundane work, but that will be a catalyst to get things going. You also have the universe sending in a big old storm. And as much as like tornadoes in real life are horribly destructive and terrible thing for someone to have to go through, in the sense of your life, when you have that, it can be terrible, difficult of a trial to go through, but it also breaks things up and makes way for something new to come in. It definitely breaks up a stalemate. So whatever you have going on here, looks like you have all the potential this week to get a stalemate broken up. and a lot of really good things will come of that. So let me just get an animal spirit guide card. I'm still kind of keeping these cards separately. I have shuffled them into the deck and they work really great shuffled in, but I also just kind of like pulling them to get some kind of extra advice or insights. So we have the white wolf, which is your intuitive, and it does talk about shaman work. Your inner knowing is your guide, and it does come up here, you know, really to me is the center. So your inner knowing is correct here. It's coming up to show you that you do have, you know, prophetic vision in a sense. If you feel and have had some doubt about that, perhaps your doubt has to do with that. It is coming up to show you can trust your inner knowing. It is telling you the right things. So just keep moving forward. All right, Aries, I hope that you enjoyed that reading. And if you'd like a set of my cards, go to my Kickstarter campaign and back that campaign. Make sure that you pick the $66 package and tell me, message me directly through Kickstarter that you would like to have this extra deck of the planetary influencers, which if you pair them with the signs of the zodiac, you actually have the major arcana. All right, we'll talk to you guys later, and we'll see you around next week.